Hi everyone, I hope everybody is doing well and you're safe and everything. Welcome to another episode of Cuppa and a Catch Up with us and a guest, very special guest who has just arrived. Jasmin, can you hear us?
Hi.
Jasmin.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
How's it going?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How's everything?
Yes, we're fine. I'm going to just introduce you because obviously we're recording this, so I just want people who eventually watch it, just so we can tell them who you are. So this is the beautiful and lovely person that is Jasmin Taher. She is also known as Dr. Jasmin. And Jasmin is a resident at Karnan and she provides an incredible aesthetic service. So that's some of the things that we've never seen before. And also she is a professional dental practitioner as well, who she does offer some services. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. But Jasmin, it's great to see you. Is everything okay your side?
Yeah, everything's good. It's good to be here. It's good to be talking to you. No, but everything's well. I'm safe. My family are well. And I think that's the most important thing, that we're safe. I think it is difficult being stuck at home and not being able to work and do what we love. But there's more important things at the moment than dentistry and aesthetics. People's safety comes first. So
yeah.
I am itching to get back to work though. So hopefully soon.
We miss seeing you in person.
I know, it's so strange. It's so strange to have not seen everyone for so long. So I'm really hoping soon we'll be able to, interact a little bit more.
Can you tell, just for the sake of those who hopefully they don't know who you are, if they are current patients or they watch our Instagram, they might have seen some of your bits and pieces pop up. But why don't you give us a bit of a brief overview of Jasmin, of Dr. Jasmin?
Yeah. So I'm a dentist, so I've trained as a dentist, but I mainly focus on aesthetics now. So by aesthetics, that's non-surgical rejuvenation, including fillers, Botox, skincare. That's what I do most of, but I also complement that with cosmetic dentistry, such as Invisalign, bonding, and kind of cosmetic smile transformation. So I've started working at Karma last August, and I've been working there full time now. I love it there. I love the team. I love the patients. I love the practice. Best place I've worked at, and I will never leave.
Won't let you leave.
That's what I love. I think in aesthetics, it can be quite a lonely profession because you work alone. So it's nice to still be part of a team and still be doing dentistry and having everyone around us, because it feels like a family at Karma. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
But what I thought would be really nice for today, I want to go into some dental stuff later on with both of you guys, just because I think it's nice for those who might be interested in that. But I myself personally, and it's a little bit selfish the reason I've got you on here, but also I think everyone else might benefit as well, because it's nice to get some tips and advice from professionals such as yourself. Do you have any tips for everybody at home who may be noticing some skin issues or they're concerned about their skin? What are the basic things that we can do just in general before you even come to a professional like yourself that would help keep your skin in good shape?
Yeah, I've spoken to a lot of people. I've been doing virtual consultations, and a lot of them have said that even though they're on lockdown and they're not wearing as much makeup, they're still breaking out and they're still having skin issues. And a lot of that could be down to the stress of everything that's happening. And I think a lot of people, when they're at home, they can get a bit lazy when it comes to following a routine, because there isn't much routine anymore. It's not like when you're working and you have a set time when you're waking up and you follow a routine, and just before bed you follow another routine. And I would say that's really important, to stick to a routine. And it's not just for improving your skin health, it's also for self-care. It's very important to focus on yourself and remember yourself and not just let yourself go. And I think a lot of people do that now whilst they're on lockdown. So I would say basic things: clean your skin, use a cleanser, not soap. So soap, which a lot of people use, just general hand soap, can ruin the pH of your skin. So it's very important to use a cleanser on your skin and to cleanse morning and night, regardless if you've been wearing makeup. And I think some people, they think that, you know, they've cleaned their skin at night, I've woken up, I don't need to clean my skin again. But throughout the night, you'll be sweating, you'll be producing oil on your skin. So it's very important to keep your skin clean, and very important to be using a toner as well. So, you know, you don't have to go for anything fancy or anything, you know, medical grade, but these are basic things that everyone should be using in their regime, which is cleansing their skin often, using toner so that they can control oil production. I think that's why a lot of people have been breaking out, because, you know, they're at home, they're not cleaning their skin often, they're not following a structured routine. So in order to maintain their skin and prevent breakouts, very important to tone your skin. And then the other thing I would say is your diet. It's very important to try to eat well. And I think, again, a lot of people have just thought that whilst they're at home and they're not seeing anyone, this is a good opportunity to just gorge on whatever they like and their favorite treats and junk food. But that is bad for your skin. It's very bad for your skin. So I think it's really important to eat well, eat lots of fruit and vegetables, drink lots of water, look after yourself. And I think that's my number one thing is self-care. I think a lot of people during this lockdown have just really begun to neglect themselves, and you know, they've seen their roots are growing out, you know, their nails aren't being done, their hair isn't being cut, and I think they're just letting go. And I think it's so important to use this time, invest in yourself. You know, this is a great time to start a new regime and really look after yourself when you have the time and you're not busy with work.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant advice, and I'm going to get onto that again a little bit later on. But I think it's brilliant, especially the drinking more water. I've actually personally found it a lot easier to drink more water now, because I can do that at home, whereas normally I'm running around, so I totally forget, and I'm like a shriveled prune by the end of the day because I haven't drunk any water. So it's actually, I found it beneficial, but I think a lot of people are right. Diet goes out the window a little bit when you're at home and you're comfortable. So in terms of aesthetics treatment, because obviously skin is one side of what you do, but you also provide aesthetics treatment as well. Let's just imagine that there may be quite a few people out there watching this video who've had aesthetics treatment and are slightly concerned about it might be, how do they keep it up? How do they maintain it during this time? If there is a way.
So it's very difficult. It's a very difficult question of how to maintain aesthetic treatments. But if there was one piece of advice I would give anyone, and that's whether they've had aesthetic treatment or not, is that they should be wearing SPF. Okay, SPF is the most important thing you could be doing to maintain your skin and your aesthetic treatment. So if you've been having Botox previously, and you're going out in the sun, sunbathing often, your treatment will not last as long as someone who's protecting themselves. And, you know, I'm indoors now, my curtains are drawn, I'm still wearing SPF 50. You know, I have no intention of going out today, but I'm still wearing SPF 50. And that's because even the light from your phone or just general light, that emits energy that can cause skin damage. So that is the most important thing you can do for anti-aging, skin treatment, maintaining aesthetics, is to protect yourself from sun damage. So I would say, you know, for anyone, literally anyone watching this, you really should be wearing SPF and actually reapplying it throughout the day, because SPF is only active for 2 hours on your skin. Okay, so, you know, say you're planning on going out, you put SPF when you woke up in the morning and you went out in the afternoon, that's no longer active. So you can end up causing skin damage. And that's because, like I said, you just need to reapply your SPF. And there are ways to make things easier. For instance, I have an SPF powder that I reapply. This is SPF 50. And then throughout the day, it's a brush. I literally just go like this, and that's me reapplying SPF 50. You know, it takes a few seconds and I'm done. So that's what I would say is the number one thing to maintain your treatment. So SPF, drinking lots of water, I think that's the only thing really that can help to maintain things, so that, you know, once lockdown is lifted, things aren't as dire as they could have been.
Yeah. That's great. So that's a very interesting product, and I've actually shown me that one before. What are your top products? What would you recommend to somebody right now that you would say these are in my top 10 or top 5?
So personally, I use ZO products, which are a medical grade skincare regime. So I use these products because they're medical grade, which means that these products can penetrate the skin. So a lot of brands that you buy from the high street or online, these products just sit on the surface of your skin, or the most they will do is penetrate the upper layer of the skin, which is already dead, okay? So you're not gonna really see a change unless products can penetrate all the way down to the deepest layers of your skin, create a change so that when these new skin cells come out, your skin looks different. So I do think it is worth investing into a medical grade skincare regime. They are more pricey, but you also see a change in your skin. So that's why I do recommend a medical grade skincare regime. But I would say, you know, the basic things that, you know, everyone should have in their regime is a cleanser, an exfoliator, and you know, I exfoliate regularly. I actually exfoliate every single day, which some people would probably be horrified to hear, but the exfoliator that I use is very fine, so I can use it regularly. But when you exfoliate regularly, it encourages fresh skin to come out. When there's too many dead cells on the surface of your skin, you slow down that cell turnover. So exfoliation is really important. So I'd say cleanse, exfoliate, use a toner to control oil production on your skin. Even if you don't think your skin is oily, oil can actually act as an inflammatory agent. So if you have spots, they end up getting redder. If you have pigment, they end up getting darker. So it's really important to control oil production. And then probably my biggest advice, which is probably going to shock most people, is not to use a moisturizer. And I think like most people will think like that's mental. How could you not use a moisturizer?
And they're also probably thinking about all the moisturizers they've got in their cabinet at home.
It's insane. And that's probably why if you look at men who don't tend to follow very good skin regimes and don't moisturize, they usually tend to have better skin than women who are investing in so many products and end up breaking out, having sensitive skin. It's very rare to find a man who has sensitive skin, okay? And that is because women have created this addiction to moisturizers that can actually lead to sensitive skin. And that's because if you're overloading your skin with external sources of moisture, your skin ends up getting lazy. So it stops producing its own natural hydration and it relies on this external source. So inherently, your skin gets drier by using moisturizers. The other thing it can do is naturally your skin wants to shed and exfoliate, okay? When you use moisturizers, you pack down dead cells back onto your skin. So that can lead to breakouts, but what it can also cause is excessive amounts of dead cells. Those then communicate to the lower cells and say, we have too many dead cells, stop producing new cells. Your skin gets thinner over time. It gets thinner, it gets more sensitive, and then it ends up getting drier. So you grab more moisturizer and then it becomes a vicious cycle.
Brilliant. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Quickly, get all of those moisturizers.
I don't do any of this stuff. So as Jasmin says, I've probably got very good skin. It
of course, 8th grade student.
It doesn't affect me. Did you not listen to her?
I did. I'd always listen to
Jasmin. So yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Okay, so how have you been keeping in touch with your aesthetics patients during the lockdown? Has it changed?
Yeah, so I've been offering free virtual consultations to anyone really, my patients, any new patients. People have been contacting me, and I've been doing that every day. And it's just, I think in the meantime, whilst people can't have treatments done, if someone's interested in treatment, it's a good opportunity to get to know me and to inquire without any pressure, to just find out more about the treatment. So it's very important to trust the person who's treating you. So it's a good opportunity for me to get to know people, keep in contact with people, And also just, the people who are new patients who are inquiring, it's a good opportunity for them to meet me. And also I am doing lots and lots of skin consultations for a whole host of skin conditions. And I think that's the good thing, is that in this time, whilst people have been stuck at home, it is a good time to invest in a good skin regime, especially with the regime that I use, ZO. It's a very aggressive regime, so initially there is downtime with the products. So it's a good time now, whilst you are at home and you're not really interacting with people, to really up your game and be willing to go through something where there is initially a little bit of downtime, so that you can finally clear some of the issues that have been bothering you.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. If it's something that's going to, because obviously some of the stuff that you're talking about, the products, they initially cause a little bit of flakiness or peeling, which in a normal daily routine, you think, oh my gosh, people are going to look at my skin, it looks like I've been out in the sun and I'm peeling. But now that at home, nobody's going to see it. So it's
Exactly.
They've been given a perfect opportunity to get started. So that's great advice. You've already answered my last question about dietary advice, so I'm going to skip on to the dental stuff now, if that's okay. We aren't allowed to see patients face to face at the moment because it's not deemed safe. But there has been, we have been, as many of our patients know, triaging patients on the phone, talking about phone consultations. So if anybody needs any help or advice, we are always open for that. So you can get in touch with us by email, or you can obviously call us as well. But what I just thought I would ask is, we are getting a lot of alternative to the emergency treatment people are inquiring about. We're getting inquiries about the cosmetic and those kinds of treatments. And I think it's because people are at home and they're thinking about, they've got a lot of time to think and look at themselves, maybe think about those concerns that they've had are coming to the surface now, and they're kind of thinking, well, maybe it would be good to address those now, ready for when we do open. So I wanted to talk to you both about maintenance on teeth, similar to what we discussed with the aesthetic. So for example, say somebody's had their teeth whitened and it's been some time and they didn't get a chance to come into the dental practitioner before the lockdown happened. How do you suggest keeping on top of those beautiful white teeth? I'll ask Jasmin first.
I would say if this is someone who we've seen previously and they've had, the whitening prescribed by us, and they feel like their teeth aren't as white as they initially were, they can still purchase the gel syringes, and we can have them dispatched to them so that they can maintain their treatments at home, so long as they have their whitening trays. And I would say you just need to also focus on trying to reduce some of the foods and drinks that can cause excessive staining in the meantime as well. So try to cut back on how much coffee you're drinking. But I would say it's worth having some backup syringes so that you can, use it one day a week, in the meantime, if you're trying to maintain treatment, or every couple of weeks, just have a top-up treatment.
Great. Is there anything else you could recommend?
In regards to the whitening? No, I think Jasmin said everything that I would say.
It's one of, in terms of the cosmetic treatment, is that one of the most common things that patients are speaking to you about?
Well, so we've had a number of inquiries from new and existing patients who have had the assessment for clear braces, and because they're probably stuck at home, they are now focused more on them rather than rushing back and forth to work and everything that entails. So we've had patients who were deliberating about undertaking this treatment to now saying to us, I wish to go ahead. And then we've had new inquiries on the same topics.
So I guess similarly as what we discussed with the aesthetics work, it's now is a good time to assess those things and plan for what you want to do, and to research and do all that. And then obviously as part of that research, if you wanted to speak to Jasmin or Karnan, that is
absolutely
now.
Well, yeah, there's Jasmin, myself, and OC who are the dentist there, who will be incredibly happy to help in giving advice, whether it's on braces and the whitening, bonding, which all of us do there.
So now it's a good time for that. And so whitening is one of the things, but the other thing that we've been getting, I don't know if it's the same for you, but you do clear aligners as well as we do. At this time, there are patients who've already had that treatment, and maybe that they're concerned about what now, like what do I do now? How do you maintain those braces during lockdown, and how do you keep your teeth in place?
Well, speaking, Jasmin uses Invisalign, I use Smileline, both amazing companies. In regards to Smileline, if the patient of mine cracks or damages their aligner, they can't obviously have any further work done or new impressions and that stuff there. But there is a special glue that we can buy, we can get from the company, and then we can use that to repair the aligner. So that's something that Smileline have been very helpful with, because they know that patients are at home and they're wearing these aligners, and then they can break. If they break, there's a chance the teeth will relapse. And that means when the patients come back, when we restart the treatment, we have to go back a step or two. So
that's a good product. Any other tips you would recommend on keeping braces in good nick and your teeth in good nick?
What I would say is, like if you're mid-treatment and you're wearing your aligner, you have to make sure you're maintaining it. Don't think that you can just take it out now and your teeth will stay in that position. You still need to be wearing it every day. So I would say that's really important. Obviously, these aligners haven't been designed to be worn for months on end. So understandably, you're probably worried that they may crack, they may break. But just like Karnan said, there are ways to get around that. With Smileline, they're giving the glue. With Invisalign, you can actually reorder the aligner that you're on as well. So if you need a replacement aligner, that's possible. But it is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that, one of the best things about this treatment is that it's quick, that you can do it in a certain number of weeks, and now it's being extended. And it is difficult when you're mid-treatment and you've been excited for the change that you're going to see, and it's stagnating and you're just stuck in one position. But what I would say is, you're not alone. So many people are with you in this current situation. I have lots of my patients who are stuck on their aligners, and unfortunately we can't proceed. The best we can do is just maintain things, and so you don't relapse or go back a few stages, so that as soon as lockdown is lifted, we can just hit the ground running and keep your treatment maintained.
Sure. And have either of you been getting any other inquiries? What are the kind of common things that are being asked of you right now in terms of the dental side?
Well, there are patients who have developed infections around wisdom teeth or previous root canals, broken teeth. So again, we would do our telephone triage, so whether they need assurance, reassurance, painkillers or antibiotics, in which case we would send out a prescription to them. We are limited to what we can do. And if that is not enough to help that particular condition, then we will refer the patients on to the next step, to an urgent dental centre, who hopefully will be able to provide the treatment they need.
Okay.
Another thing, just to make a point, is, as Jasmin said, was about eating the right food. And for me, on a personal thing, my patients who will know something about me, that I am an honest person, but I was very guilty of not following my own advice, even though I know how important it is. I'm very good at giving advice. I'm not always the best at following it, and I think that's quite common for most people. So now, because I am at home and I'm watching a lot of webinars and doing other things there, I'm flossing at the same time. But the other thing that I do warn my patients about is too much of a good thing, too much of a fruit is actually quite harmful for your teeth. So it's being aware and conscious that there is acidity in fruits. So the more you consume over longer periods, there's higher risk of the acid from the fruits stripping away the enamel. So it's really important never to brush your teeth after you have something acidic. Always brush your teeth first thing in the morning, and before you brush your teeth at night, try to avoid eating anything up to about 45 minutes beforehand, because all you'll be doing then is brushing the acid around the teeth, which will soften them and make them weaker. So I am conscious, because I do give the advice, but I have to be careful not to damage my own teeth, even though I'm doing something very well, which is by eating fresh fruit.
Sure. And is there anything else that you think patients are asking about that might be helpful to those at home watching the video in terms of advice?
Yeah, I think just like Karnan mentioned earlier, I think a lot of people right now, because they have the time, are doing a lot of research. They're on Instagram, they're looking at all these glamorous transformations of teeth, and they're using this time also, like you said, to focus on themselves and seeing imperfections and be thinking, is that something I can correct? And so I'm getting a lot of people who are interested in treatment like Invisalign and bonding and things like that. So, it's good that people are using this time to research and have the ability to talk to us virtually. Some people, they want something, they want to be able to speak to us with no commitment, just a quick conversation, just to get some information. And perhaps these are the people that wouldn't necessarily want an appointment, an hour-long appointment, and having to come to the dentist. And it sounds a bit more scary having to come in. So it's a nice sort of transition to having treatment, to be able to talk to us and just get a little bit of information. So yeah, I'm getting quite a few people interested in like Invisalign and Smileline, and bonding treatment. So it's good to be able to talk to us. And the other thing I wanted to mention, that Karnan was saying, is that it's good to be able to focus on yourself and build good habits. And I think at the moment I think there's probably two schools of thought, two approaches people are taking. And one is people who are just giving up and just being quite depressive about the situation, just waking up midday and just in the same routine. And I think there's another school of thought where people are trying to use this time to be productive, to get things done, build good habits. And I really do think it's a great time to build habits, like you were saying, with the flossing, eating healthily, following a good routine. Because when we're at work and we're busy, it's easy to sometimes neglect yourself, and something has to give. If you're so busy or you're so stressed and you're so drained, something's going to give. So whilst you have all this time, make the most of it. Do the things that you've been meaning to do, or that you haven't built a good habit, or you haven't been able to floss regularly, or you haven't been able to brush for 2 minutes, or use your TP brushes, or follow a good skincare regime. So whilst it doesn't look like things are going to return back to normal anytime soon, so we'll still have lots of free time. So I do encourage everyone who's watching to try to focus on yourself and do things that are good for you. And just like Connor says, even good things, too much of it isn't very good. So moderation, of course.
Yeah, Jess, I think when we finished work for the first 2 weeks, although I was dealing with the business side of things, of temporarily closing it down, dealing with banks and other things there, I was sleeping, I was waking up late, I was feeling barely, a lack of energy and other things there, because I was missing a routine. I was missing that impetus to get out of bed, to go to work, to work from 9 to 6, and then do admin afterwards, and not have my lunch. I was always on the go. And when I got home, exhausted and fell asleep. So here, having all this time to seemingly, there was so much to do that I did nothing at all, nothing productive.
Yeah.
It took me a few weeks into work out. No, I need to get back into shape. I've got to eat well, have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner, take the dog for a walk, and all these things.
And also, I think, well, from my point of view, I work from home a lot anyway, so I'm kind of used to just get cracking on and doing what I need to do. But Karnan has learned to adapt to that as well, because you guys work within a clinical setting, and then suddenly being at home and trying to navigate that is a totally different thing. And it's been interesting for us to use those things together, and for Karnan to see how it is for me to be at home working and how I have to do that. It's just been interesting, but Karnan's getting into that, and we're getting structure, and we're doing the webinars, and we're doing all these things, and then I'll go off into one room and do my thing so that I can focus and everything. So yeah, but one thing I do think it's interesting what you were saying about the video consultations, because I mean, I have nothing to back up what I'm about to say, but I think that moving forward, dentistry may include a lot more of that in terms of, especially in the beginning stages, before things, if they ever do get back to normal. We may find, and anyone watching this may find that moving forward. We may have to
Yeah.
consult you in the beginning over video, just because it will save coming face to face and risking anything. So
Yeah, I agree. And I think, we have to look at this situation positively and say maybe we needed this to happen so that it can really revolutionize how we do dentistry. Maybe we've needed this to take things to a new, we need to work with the technological advances in society. Everyone's on social media, things are progressing so quickly. And I think, we can use this opportunity to change the way that we do things in dentistry as well. I was watching CNN, and I was watching Governor Cuomo talking about the schools in the US and how, when schools reopen, maybe it'll have to be some sort of virtual element. And he said how, this is what maybe the schooling system needed, like a shakeup. We've been doing the same things for years and years and decades, and nothing's changed. And even though we have so much available to us, technology has advanced massively, but things have stayed the same. So, perhaps this is a good opportunity for us to make ourselves more available to people. There are people who live far from the practice that, to come for a consultation, it's a lot of effort. So maybe it would be worth just having, a video consultation to start with, to get an idea of what we can offer, what they're interested in, before they commit to that journey per se. So there's a lot like that we can take from the situation.
yes, and perhaps we're about to enter into a new age of kind of
Yeah.
invention within medical and dental world industry, where we see technological advancements, where clever, inventive, wonderful people are going to come and say, I have a solution to this problem. The patient doesn't have to come, I've created this solution. So hopefully there will be a whole new depth to this industry that will transform dentistry, like you say, in incredible ways, and will create new businesses, new jobs, and all of that. So who knows? But it could be good.
It could be challenging, but definitely worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're facing problems we didn't know existed before, and we're having to be quite clever about things. But like you said, it's definitely going to be good, and it will benefit us in the long term, and we'll be prepared for everything really because of it.
Amazing. Well,
one last thing that I want
Yeah.
to say is from on behalf of Kim and myself and Karma, having Jasmin join us and be part of the team has been one of the best things that happened to us last year, and we could not imagine Karma without her. So she has been a joy of her beautiful smile, her optimism, her constant drive, and just pushing everyone along to make sure that everybody is on board with things is invaluable to us.
Yeah.
So personally, I just want to say thank you very much, Jazz, for being a part of the team.
And it was a perfect time for me. I hadn't been at Karma very long when we met, and you came in, and I think I needed somebody to come and say, I like your ideas, and I like the way you're thinking and where you're going, and we were on the same page, and it just gave me a little bit of a boost to say, right, come on, let's do something very exciting. And I think we were really lucky that you walked into our practice.
We were.
Honestly, I'm the lucky one. I could not be happier with where I am. The team, you guys are incredible, and the whole team just has the same vision, the same spirit, the same energy. There is no better place I can imagine myself at. So honestly, I'm grateful that you took me into Karma. I'm proud to be a part of your team.
But it was at a time where we never would have said, yes, let's bring on somebody and do this thing. We didn't even have a room at the time, and then even that worked out perfectly. And it was
crazy.
Very, very crazy. So we are very lucky to have you, Jasmin.
We are.
We can't wait to see you in person. And yeah, I'm just really, thank you so much for coming and zoom in with us.
No, it's my pleasure. This was great. I really enjoyed this. It was nice to see you guys and speak to you, and it's nice to talk about things that we enjoy. And I think, going back to how you said in the first few weeks that everything was a bit of a mess, and I felt the same. I felt like I didn't have purpose, and I think that's the hard thing. to being, you know, feeling like you're doing things every day, things that are important, things that make a difference to people, to all of a sudden doing nothing and having no purpose. It's very difficult to know how to just live like that.
Yeah.
And I think for me, virtual consultations has really helped me, because it's made me feel like I'm working, and that I'm still interacting and I'm talking to people. And I think being at home all the time can be lonely, and it's important to talk to people and feel like with your webinars, and you're doing lots of work and you feel like you have a purpose.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jasmin. Your insights have been really, I think people are going to take a lot from it. Honestly, I do. So I appreciate that and your time, because I know you actually are busy. And I will put all of your details below. And if anybody wanted to book in, then I will send them put a link down there so they can do it directly. I'm also going to put this on our website on this dedicated page. So if anybody goes there and they're reading this, just look underneath the video where it is embedded, and all the details will be there, as well as any of the products that you've mentioned. I'll just link those as well so people can have a look and do some research. But yes, is there anything else that you want to say or do? Or
have you missed
no,
it?
I just want. I do actually. I do miss him from afar. I'm afraid of dogs, guys, but I do love Barry. He makes me laugh.
He's quite safe here from you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
He's,
at least he can't jump on you when you're expecting it.
I can just admire him from afar.
Sorry, I
that's all
just
right.
butted in with him there.
No, that's fine. I was just gonna say, like, I hope everyone's keeping safe, and that they're finding some purpose or structure in their life to keep them going. I know this is one of the hardest things most people have had to experience. It's a very strange and surreal experience. It still doesn't feel real, you know, when you go outside and the streets are empty and everyone's afraid of each other. It's very weird, but we're all going through it together. And I think whenever anyone feels down or depressed or lonely, it's really try to speak to someone. Try to speak to your friends and your family, and just try to get through this difficult time. And we'll be waiting for you when you're done. We'll be ready to treat you, make you look your best and feel your best, and bring normality back to life.
Sure.
Brilliant.
And on that note, if anybody does need to speak to us about their dental concerns, do give us a call on our usual number. I will link all of our contact details down below, and you can speak to us. If you're in pain, we can talk you through what to do at home and everything. And I was going to say something else. I've forgotten now, but if I remember, I will pop it underneath. But yes, and we're open for consultations on the phone, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So give us an email or a call, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Thank you very much again, Jasmin.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Hugs through the computer at you.
Oh, we'll speak soon, guys.
We'll speak to you soon.
All right, Jazz.
Stay safe. Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.